It's the kid, it's the child, 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 it's the kid, it's the child. The child is the kid, is the child, it's the kid, is the child, the child is the kid, is the kid, is the kid, is the kid, is the kid. Had is few tech issues, but guys, chill out. Your boy is here, I got a new little swag thing. Money's time. Doesn't mean I'm rich. Just means that a little bit of change. I know some people who know some people know some people. Hooked your boy up with this little bit of that, bit of little that, bit of that. So I'm swagging up, baby. I'm swagging up. I could have won a suit, but I haven't. Gonna have a quality show just to tell you guys, looking ahead. We got Wednesday show. Your boy Ford is gonna say what's up. Your boy Ford is gonna say what's up, and he's gonna your boy Ford, me and him, we're gonna do a live watch of the Chelsea United game via Twitch. If you don't follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitch. Me and your boy Ford, we're gonna do a live show. We're gonna see. Okay. And so Thursday, there may not be actually no Thursday. There will be a live show. There'll be a live show on Thursday. I'm trying to think of who I'm going to get for that live show. Maybe it's going to be Red, or maybe I can try and get Jujuman up in there. Jujuman has been a bit busy through work. And then of course Friday is of course the long marathon live show, which I pretty much take questions and the Q&A and so forth. As I always say, I'm going to put this in here. Become a Patreon, support your boy, pledge an amount each month, support your boy HH, an independent football analyst, the greatest football analyst out there, and gain access to exclusive football vids, entertainment vids, anime vids, and all the lovely kind of stuff. In the link below, become a Patreon, support your boy, and gain access to the best flipping content you can get on the planet. Your boy gives you that best content. It's a flipping fact, man. It's how I write. So let's just tell you. So what's going to come up on the show? We're going to talk Neymar. I'm going to just give my thoughts on Neymar. We're going to talk about Ibrahimovic, who wants to return to La Liga. This guy loves himself. For a guy who's never been to a Champions League final, he talks a lot. That's what I'm saying. For a guy who has never sniffed a Champions League final, this guy is on Twitter all day. Basically, you would think that this guy has at least three CLs. The way he tweets and talks about himself, you would swear he's got 3 CLs. You swear he's got 3 CLs. And also, a bit of a larger topic. I know what Messi has done and everything. Messi and Cristiano, have they made the World Cup irrelevant? Has their construction and everything in the world, have they made the World Cup relevant? So the plan for this, though, I was actually going to have Lenka on the show, but she's just having a bit of tech issues currently at the moment. So while she just sorts out those tech issues, hopefully she'll probably be able to join us and give her thoughts on these things. But I say, you know what, I can't keep you guys waiting. I've got to give you guys that lovely content. So really, before we really go into the main show, I just want to just say something right now. I saw what Messi did. So let's just look at the recent stuff that's happening. So Messi balled, and now people are saying that Messi is back. 50 free kicks. I'll be real with you, that's amazing. 50 flipping free kicks. That is flipping amazing, and that's crazy. So, but my thing is this: should that be heralded if he did that against Valladolid? All I'm saying, he did it against Valladolid. Should we still look at it independently and say that's amazing, superb assist, superb goal, or not? Does the opposition matter when we're talking about a guy who's arguably one of the greatest players in the world? Does the opposition matter, or the opposition should not matter? Let me hear your thoughts there, and then I'll just go in slightly. Let me just look at it. I'm just trying to get Sri Lanka in there. Look at this goal. He did it against that. Do you know what's so funny? Every single time I talked about, I talk about Messi, and I don't even criticize him. Whenever I just bring up truth, people always say, "Oh, look, he destroyed Nigeria. He destroyed Nigeria." Like, "Oh, look at the goals he scored against Nigeria." Fine, yeah, he bowled against Nigeria and everything, even if we did beat Argentina in the flipping Olympics in '96. That's what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is, whenever he does these things, and we know that he always does these things every time because he's amazing and everything, but he's doing it against dudes that we've already seen him do it against these dudes before. We've already seen him doing it against these dudes. So it's like, shouldn't it be a bigger deal if he does it in a Champions League semi, a World Cup semi, against a PSG, against a Real Madrid, against a Bayern Munich, against a Man City, against a Liverpool? Shouldn't that be a bigger deal? Because if he does this against a Liverpool in a semi-final, a PSG in a semi-final, against a thing in a final, that's when like, whoa. So when he scored those goals last year, I was like, no, boom, Messi shut up. That is when you can go on Twitter and be like, man, Messi shut up. So, but why should it be a big deal now? Why should he be trending now? That's the thing. Because my thing is like, yeah, okay, Messi, cool. We know you're amazing. You're playing Valladolid. You know, you playing Valladolid. So, I'm even saying that. I get, that's what I say, like, it's amazing. And the free kick that he scored is amazing. And like, look, I'll be real with you. 50 free kicks is insane. 50 free kicks is flipping insane. Ain't gonna lie. 50 free kicks is absolutely flipping insane. And I will not really hate on that. Because many people, I still think that the best free kick taker of all time is Juninho. I don't know whether you guys disagree with that or not, but I still feel that the greatest free kick taker of all time is Juninho. Because Juninho's free kicks were flipping insane. But, and I think I said this even last year, that I think a strong argument can be made that I'd probably put Messi. Messi might be two. Because you've got to look at David Beckham. You've got to look at Pirlo. Really, that's it. I mean, when I think of free kickers, I think of Pirlo, I think of Beckham, and I think of Juninho. So, you see, Roberto Carlos scored the best free kick of all time, which will never ever be equaled. That Roberto Carlos free kick is the greatest free kick of all time. It's defied the laws of physics. But I would say Messi number two. I say Messi is probably the second best free kick taker of all time. I think number one, 100% is Juninho. I don't think Juninho can be beaten, but I think it's going to be a very long time until Juninho is beaten. This guy redefined and pretty much revolutionized what it means to take a free kick. So good that Pirlo himself even took his technique, and many people even copied this guy's technique. That is how good that dude was. But I think we can now pretty much say that thingy like Messi is second. And I think, look, it's yet another milestone. And I've said this many times before, and you can know that many times before, that he is the by far 100%, he is the greatest club football player of all time. And that notion has not changed. That notion still remains the same. That notion has not changed, that he is the greatest club football player of all time. Because when you look at this guy's consistency, what he's done, both with assists, goals scored, and free kicks, is amazing. And then people say, no, Dino was good. How many free kicks did Dino score? What was Dino's consistency with his free kicks? Did Dino ever reach 50 career free kick goals? I don't think he did. Nakamura was pretty good. Again, how consistent was Nakamura? Did Nakamura ever reach 50 free kicks? Ever? You know, so, but for me, I just think like Juninho Pernambucano was on a whole different level. You know, I think that dude was in a whole different level. So, and for me, I thought Cristiano would actually probably be in there. I already thought that Cristiano would probably be in there, but he was in there. So, okay, let me all right, let's just see what's happening in there. Okay. All right, so I think hopefully we should probably have Lenka here, our guest. So let's just okay, wait 1 second, man. Just 1 second, guys. Let me make sure everything is all sweet, and then we can then get in. So, all right, let's ride.
All right, hello everyone.
All right, aloha. All right. So guys, can you? I'm not just saying, guys. Can you hear an echo? Hopefully, you guys cannot hear an echo. So we have um our guest here, Lenko. Hopefully, you cannot hear an echo, so we can now get straight to the thing. So if you can hear an echo, please tell me and everything. So oh,
Dramatic
so
pause.
okay. So okay. So there's an echo. So basically, what's going to happen is like basically whenever I so basically whenever you speak, I'll just mute my thing. Whenever that happens. Yeah, guys. I know. So basically, chill, Doria. I'll sort out the echo. So before actually no. Let's actually leave that. And let's just get to our main topic right now. So we'll leave the whole messy thing and everything. Boom, boom, boom. Let's now get into our first order of business, which is my dear friend, this dude, Neymar. So obviously, let me just set the scene, and then Lenka, you can then come in and give in your thoughts. So look, here's my thing on Neymar briefly. So basically, Neymar was trending.
Yes.
And the reason why Mr. Neymar was trending was so there was a photo of him lying on top of his mother, and he then made some kind of a suggestion that he was somehow having sex with his mom or something like that in a jokey kind of way. And just here's my thing, because this is going to talk of a larger situation here. A lot of stuff we are hearing from Neymar, a lot of stuff that we're hearing from Neymar is pretty much about off the field activity. Now, I'm not even going to get into the whole thing with his mom, his sister. I'm not even going to get into that other stuff. But the fact of the matter is that why do we keep hearing about these things? Why do these things keep on coming up? Why do we keep on having these issues where we are hearing about this dude and about, oh, what about his sister, his mom, his movie thing, him arguing with people and everything? So, and my thing is that, look, when Neymar balls, for me, he's the best player in the world. If everybody's at their peak and everything, I put Neymar as the best player in the world. But my thing is that so much of this off the field activity is harming him. So let me even bring in Lenka into this. Do you think that, would you say that Neymar is still relevant as a top player? Or do you think his social media activity is superseding his footballing prowess?
Honestly, I do believe that at this point, his social media and his off the court antics are overshadowing everything that he's doing in football as an athlete. And, the picture on Instagram and whatever, and the comments and all of that kind of controversy is overshadowing everything that he's been doing in the past year, 2 years in the field, which is not how things should go. If you're a football player, your major thing, your primary thing should be playing football, and everything else that you do should come as secondary before you retire. And then when you're 30 something and then you're retired, you can go do movies and be a pundit, or whatever, just social media and everything. Like, you can be an influencer, that's great. But if you're still fairly young, and if you're supposed to be at your peak, you're not meant to be trending on Twitter more than spending time playing good football. That's just it.
Okay, so yes, I mean, look, for me, my thing is this: is that it's my the issue here is that, look, Neymar, the reason why he came to PSG is very simple. He came to PSG for one reason, and that was to win the Champions League. But I think even more so, and this is even what I said in my videos, that I felt that Neymar was supposed to be the natural successor to Messi. He was supposed to be the natural successor to Messi. So my thing is this: is that I'm going to say it right now: Neymar will never win a Ballon d'Or. Neymar will never win the World Cup, and Neymar will never ever be regarded as the best player in the world. I think that he missed that window, and I think that with too many distractions, he's missed that boat. And I don't, because for me, what I think that if PSG win the Champions League, I think it will be without Neymar. I don't think they'll do it, but if they do it, my thinking is that they'll probably do it without him, which would be the biggest, ultimate, just beat down loserishness of this dude. So throwing it to you now, Lenka, like, I mean, do you believe that Neymar can still somehow, some way, win the Ballon d'Or, and somehow, some way, for the rest with the rest of his career, be regarded as the best player in the world, or do you think it's over? He'll forever be a social media whore.
Honestly, I don't think that he will be regarded as the best ever. There's just no way, because the big dilemma of today's football is whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo or if it's Messi. There is no place for Neymar. He could have taken that kind of second position if he was disciplined enough, and he is not. He is incredibly talented. That is undoubtable. That is just like a fact that cannot be denied and should not be denied. However, he is not disciplined enough to maintain that level of talent and turn it into something that is truly extraordinary, which is why there will not be a comparison between him and Messi, because there's Messi, there are a few empty spaces, then there's Cristiano Ronaldo. We're talking about today's football, not all-time football.
Whoa,
And then
whoa, whoa, wait, wait, whoa, 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 hold up, wait, easy, easy, easy,
all
easy.
right.
Wait. I've got to push back there. You said there's Messi, because obviously we're gonna get to the Messi Cristiano thing, but I'm gonna push back there. You said Messi and there are many empty spaces. So are you
A
telling me
few
that?
empty spaces, yes. I do see Messi superior to Cristiano Ronaldo, yes. Is it a controversial opinion? Yes. Do I care about it? Not really.
No. He is no. For me, he is better than Cristiano, 100%. Like I admit that. But my thing is this: is that are you going to say that there is a massive gap between Messi and a Kylian Mbappe?
Yes, because Mbappe is still, first of all, very young. Second of all, he hasn't achieved as much as Messi due to that difference, and he still needs to grow. Not only with age, but with his technique, and everything will come with the years. He can potentially be a lot better than he is now, even though right now he is excellent, but he can be a lot better. Uh, is he going to reach Messi levels? I don't think so.
Okay, no. Okay, so let's just hit this super chat here. So we got a super chat here from Happy Feet 1835. Thank you, bro, for your £2 super chat. So he says that Messi is the best system player of all time. So my thing is this: is that let me throw this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Could Messi work in a different system that isn't Barcelona?
I have to say that is a very complex question, because we have to think about who would be the coach, who would be his fellow teammates, because you can't just throw him with anyone. It has to be people, it has to be a group of people that think in a similar way. We don't have to say, oh, it only has to be like Barcelona, it only has to be some sort of tiki taka. It can be a different system, but it has to still be a number of individuals that will be able to click with him and that will be able to understand what he wants and vice versa. Which is why, the Argentinian national team is not working as well as they should be, because they're just being thrown into the mix and someone is hoping for the best. It has to be a system that is well produced and well thought through. I don't think that he would be able to thrive as well as he has with Xavi and Iniesta, but he would still be able to play excellent football if he had the teammates that were on the same level and that were on the same page without it being chaos.
Okay, so let's hook back to Neymar right now. So a lot of people sort of have been saying this in the live chat. So if we run ourselves back to 2015, many people would argue that Neymar played a massive role in winning Barcelona that treble in 2015. And we look at the miracle at Camp Nou, how Neymar devalued PSG, and how he pretty much was influential in that amazing comeback that proved that PSG were a bunch of losers. So do you feel that Neymar should have never left Barcelona, and if he had stayed at Barcelona, he would have ended up becoming one of the best players, or one of the best players in the world if he had remained at Barcelona? Or you defend him making that move to PSG?
Honestly, I understand why he left. He wanted bigger opportunities. He wanted to be the front runner. He didn't want to be overshadowed by anyone, which is understandable as a career move. But it was also very impulsive, in my opinion, because he was thinking as someone who is very young and not, he wasn't thinking it through. Because when you're older, you think things through, and then you say, okay, let's not rush. He rushed and he made an impulse decision that cost him his status. And had he stayed in Barcelona, I do think that his chance of winning trophies and of being considered a lot higher within the world of football, I mean, all of those would be better for him than right now at PSG. Even though he is, technically the front runner, it's still PSG and not Barcelona.
Okay, so I mean, so basically, let's just hit this other. Oh my god! So sorry. Let's just hit this other super chat right now. By the way, someone in the live chat said that you sound like a newscaster. So
Thank you.
okay, that's okay. That's good. So Martin Rosero, thank you, bro, for the $2 super chats. He says that Mbappe surpassed Laessi, aka Messi, with the World Cup already. So let me get this to you because like, look, this is my thing here. Do you believe because Mbappe has a World Cup and
Yes.
Mbappe scored 2 goals against Argentina while Messi was on the pitch? Does Mbappe winning a World Cup, scoring a World Cup final, does that give him slightly one over than Messi? Because look, if you're so great, why can't you win the World Cup? So does Mbappe winning the World Cup give him an edge over Messi, or it does Mbappe needs to do more and be more consistent?
He needs to be a lot more consistent so that on a greater scale, he can be considered as Messi's equal. And Leo Messi will always have that kind of shadow over him for not winning more with Argentina. That is just a matter of fact. The fact that Mbappe did what he did at such a young age at the World Cup is amazing, and it shows all of his potential and everything that he can do in the future. And so you can never say that those levels of achievements are, somehow lower than Messi's. However, on a greater scale, we have to still be comparing Messi's trophies versus Mbappe's trophies, and we have to be, weighing which one personally as a fan, for example, which one means more to you. Is it, I don't know how many Champions Leagues versus one World Cup? Is it Ballon d'Ors, or is it, two goals in the final? It's a matter of personal perspective a lot of time, but I would still have to say that based on his career and based on his age and his achievements so far, Messi still has a leg up.
All right, okay. So let's move over to our next topic right now. So this is Ibrahimovic. So um, let me just put this out there. I'm not ageist. I don't want to reveal my age, but let's just say that I'm a few years younger than Ibrahimovic. I'm going to reveal my age. So and you can't guess my age, guys. So relax. Don't even try. I'm not ageist. Ibrahimovic is 38 years old. 38, and he isn't a defender. And Ibrahimovic now says that he put out like this whole social media thing that is hinting that he may want to return to La Liga. As you well know, he played with Barcelona, and of course, that really did not go too well with how him and Pep were sort of riding through. So he's sort of hinting that he wants to go back to La Liga and everything. My couple of things here, then I'll obviously throw it to Lenka right now. Ibrahimovic has had like an amazing career, superb career, scored some amazing goals, and probably golden as one of the most decorated players of his generation, and scoring some of the best goals that an individual guy has scored. But, and there is a but. First of all, I think Ibrahimovic going to La Liga doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever because, like, if you're going to La Liga, what kind of team are you going to play for? And also, you're coming from the MLS. The MLS is about 3,000 levels down from La Liga, and I don't even know which team you could fit in. There is no team you could specifically. There is no top team you could fit in. And for Ibrahimovic, who's an egotistical guy, you want to go to a top team. But my thing is that this guy talks a lot for a dude who's never won a Champions League, for a dude who has never even sniffed a Champions League final. And for me, I think Ibrahimovic, he seems like a very cool character. He seems like really cool, and he's quite funny in the way that he carries himself and everything. But my thing though is that the way in which this guy talks, you would assume that this guy definitely, at least, he's won a Champions League. At the very least, he's won like a CL or something. So let me even throw it to you now, Lanka. Do you feel that, based on how Ibrahimovic talks, he values himself a bit more than how good he really is? He actually overestimates himself, and he isn't as good he's not as good a player as he portrays himself to be on social media? Or do you think that he just deserve the praise based on all of the accolades that he has?
Honestly, he's the kind of guy who values himself a lot, and I think that's kind of a part of his charm and why people love him so much, because he has that larger than life attitude. He wouldn't be Ibrahimovic if he was to become super humble and down to earth and, super chill about himself. It wouldn't be the same. He wouldn't be himself. This is such a huge part of his persona that he's built over the years. The kind of larger than life attitude on and off court. He loves to give um, these lavish statements. He loves to make a statement in the field by creating super big goals and super fancy goals, from crazy angles, and do these insane moves. Even his debut in the MLS ended up with such an amazing goal. If you hadn't seen it or if you forgot about it, you can look it up on YouTube. It's the kind of highlights thing, the kind of move that will end up in a compilation of highlights somewhere for sure. So it's that kind of attitude that makes him who he is. Do I think that him coming back to La Liga would be realistic? Honestly, if he were to fit into like this middle tier club, maybe.
No, 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 come on, he ain't going to no middle tier club. So okay, so you see
I'm
Ibra
talking
rocking
about
up to like an
realistic.
Elche or a Gran Granada.
I'm no, I'm talking about like realistic possibilities. I don't think that he would fit into like a Barcelona or Real Madrid. It would be great marketing wise, but I don't think that realistically in the field at this point it would make sense for both him as a player or the aforementioned teams. Kind of middle ground, mid level tier clubs would make more sense if he were to actually make that kind of transition. But again, at this point in his career, and with La Liga being the way that it is, I don't really see it happening in real life. If this was, 5 years ago, I would be giving you a different answer. But this is just the current state of football. You have 17, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are just ready to give up everything that they can so they can play like 30 minutes in a La Liga game. And then you have a guy who's 38 who is incredible, but is still 38 and has not been playing in Europe for a while now. You have to compare those two, and you have to realistically say, where can this guy actually fit? And I currently think that his best place is the MLS, where he can be a lot more chill, where he can uh, actually play ball, where he can be an artist instead of staying, in some random team for, another 6 months or a year.
So I mean, let's just dive a little bit deeper into Ibrahimovic. So I mean, look at this guy. One league title for Juventus, one league title for I believe it was Ajax, one league title for Barcelona, for Inter Milan, for PSG. When you look at his career, people will say, look all of the league titles that he's won. At almost every club that he went to, every country he went to, he won at least one major trophy. Do you still feel that the fact that he never won the Champions League, that is a huge stain on his legacy? Or do you think that, well, he was unlucky and so forth? Because for me, I think that there is no excuse for a player this good who played with quality teams. Remember, the Inter Milan team that he left won the treble the very next year that he left. And he was in a Barcelona team that had peak Xavi, peak Iniesta, peak Messi, and so forth. So he was in a great team. So do you think that we have to hold him accountable for failing to win a Champions League, and we can't really put him as one of the true greats of the sport because, again, he failed to win the big one?
Well, at any player, if you were to look at any player and say whether or not he won the Champions League, if the answer is no, that is still, bringing it a little bit to a bit of a shadow to everything else. Because just like Messi, who hadn't won the World Cup with Argentina, the fact that Ibrahimovic hadn't won the Champions League is a bit, it brings out some other aspects against everything else that he's done well, because it's still the one thing that he hasn't done.
Okay, yeah. I mean, So look, I mean, but look, I mean, I think really, just to sort of round this off. I don't think Ibrahimovic. There is no club in La Liga that he can go to. I think he doesn't fit into Barcelona. He'll never go back to Barcelona because as long as Messi's there, he'll never go back based on how those things ended. Atletico Madrid. You see, I think that Atletico could use him, but I just feel that at 38, I don't know how much he can really give them. But I think structurally, within how Atletico play, he could fit there. He can't fit to Real Madrid, and I think him going to Real Madrid would take away from Benzema. I think Benzema has actually been one of the most informed strikers out there, so you would actually upset that angle. And also, the way that Zidane wants his team to play, Ibra can't really work there. So I think for Ibra, bro, you just have to retire yourself in the MLS, man. So our final topic that I wanted to discuss right now, and I think this has been sort of ongoing. Now, it is not. It isn't a topic that you think. So this isn't a Messi versus Cristiano topic. This is sort of a Messi and Cristiano versus HH topic. So I'll explain. Let me just give you a little background. You see, growing up, um, I the World Cup was seen as the biggest trophy. It was seen as the major trophy. The Champions League was cool. The league title was cool. You could not call yourself a legend. You could not sit at the table. You could not be allowed into the VIP club. You could not sip pina colada. You could not sip the Hawaiian drink if you did not win a flipping World Cup. That was the zenith. That was the pinnacle. That is what every legend had to do. They had to come to the club, show their World Cup medal, then they'll be allowed into the VIP room. That's how it was growing up. But we've now reached a stage where Messi and Cristiano have done something in football that has never been seen before. As in, we've never seen two sets of players play at a high level for over a decade. That's never happened. I mean, you want to bring in my favorite player like a Ronaldo, a flipping Dino, you want to bring in Romario, you want to bring in Rivaldo, you want to bring in all these dudes, Zidane. They had like a peak for maybe 3, 4, 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years max. I mean, Messi and Cristiano, they've been doing this thing for ages. And many people have said that because of what Messi and Cristiano have done, specifically in club for football, the amount of Ballon d'Ors they've won, the records they've broken, crazy amounts of goals in a calendar year, the Champions Leagues they've won, and how they've very deservedly been amongst the best players in the world for such a long time, it means that they don't need to win a World Cup. And my thing about this is that, let's have a debate about this. I want to see how people in the live chats think about this and what Lenka thinks about this. Because for me, I think that I get that and I appreciate their consistency. But this is what I always ask, and it's a very, very humble question. For the crazy things these guys have done and the amazing things these guys have done, because even my goats, like for a Ronaldo and Zidane, they were not this consistent. They didn't have a 5, 6 year span. Ronaldinho, one of my personal favorite players, he had like maybe a 2, 3 year span of being at the peak. But my thing is this is that, and this is a question I always ask. If you're so great, why can't you win the World Cup? If you're so great, why can't you score at least one goal in a World Cup knockout game? That's the only thing I ask. And people say it's the teams are weak, the manager is weak, this guy missed, they didn't really have the thing, you can't say everything. So we get into this whole confusion, but let me just bring in Lanka into this. Where do you stand? Do you feel that Messi and Cristiano's consistency means that even if they've not won the World Cup, they should still be allowed to sit at the same table as a real Ronaldo, a Zidane, a Pele, a Maradona, and so forth?
Honestly, if you were to not let them sit at the same table, I think the world would be outraged because of everything that they've done in the past decade. Do I think that not winning a World Cup means that having won everything else is okay, so you don't even have to attempt at the World Cup? No. Do I still think that the World Cup is the biggest thing a player can win? Yes. Is everything else that Cristiano and Leo Messi, is everything that they've won enough to compensate for not winning a World Cup? That really depends. I do think that, for example, Messi's lack of a World Cup trophy is a major shadow over everything else that he's done. Is it going to overshadow everything else that he's done? No. But he would have been the undoubtable GOAT had he won a World Cup. This way, even when he retires, everyone's going to talk about his records, his La Ligas, and the Champions League and everything. But there's always going to be that but he hasn't won a World Cup, and that's just going to be it. Unfortunately, the way football has been going in the past decade or so, the level of national teams has dropped as the level of club teams, and just club competitions has increased. And that is this toll that had to happen, um, with one rising over the other. And this is why the Champions League is becoming increasingly more relevant and the World Cup is kind of losing its peak, unfortunately. But do I still think that the Champions League is the biggest competition that a player could win? No, I still think that's the World Cup. The Champions League are the most amazing bonus, but as a player, I mean, you have to have the golden goddess. Otherwise, it's not the full story, or it's not everything that it could have been.
So let's even really get down to the psychologies of both of these guys, because let's even look at Messi right now as to why he's not been able to win the Golden Goddess. Um, do you put the blame on Messi? Do you put the blame on the players around him that the players are not good enough? Or do you put the blame on the coach? Because for me, I'm tired of people blaming everyone else.
I
I'm
think
tired
it's a
of excuses.
collective blame. I think it's a collective blame. You can't just say, "Oh, it's someone else's fault that he hasn't won a trophy." It's the fault of all of these factors combined, of him as an individual, of his teammates as both individuals, and the members of the Argentinian national team, and obviously the coaches and the staff that have been just coming in and out, with the Argentinian national team bench being basically a revolving door in the past few years. So it is a mix of all of those factors that has not done justice to Argentina as a nation who loves football so much, and as Messi, who, as team captain, wasn't able to get the trophy that I think makes every player in the world relevant. It is the kind of trophy that you dream about as a kid training football. So if he wasn't able to win it, it is the mix of blames on both himself and his surrounding factors. I don't think that as an individual he can say, "Oh yeah, it's someone else's fault." It's his fault, but it's also the fault of the people around him.
And also, so for specifically, and for Cristiano, who you say is trash.
I
Um,
don't.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
Okay, but you
He's a
say he's.
quality player. I don't respect his attitude off court. I don't like people that are very egotistic, and that is just the kind of attitude that I'm personally not a fan of. His accolades professionally are respect worthy. They cannot be denied. They should not be denied. He's done excellent, and he truly is excellent physically and within the sport. My opinions on him as a person are a different thing that doesn't really matter at this point.
And why? So, do you see either of them maybe one time winning the World Cup in the future? Because maybe they have maybe one World Cup appearance left for them. So, do you think that somehow, somewhere, either Argentina or Portugal can create a situation where they can have a World Cup? Because what I do agree with you is this is that, and I even said this back in 2014. If Cristiano wins a World Cup, I still won't call him the greatest. If he wins the World Cup, I'll just shut down my channel and I'll take up synchronized swimming or something. If Messi wins the World Cup, you know what? That's that's a if he wins the World Cup and he leads Argentina to World Cup and he's the best player and he scores in the final, you know what? I can't. Then he will supersede Maradona. What Maradona has over Messi is what he did in 86. So do you think there's any way that either of them can actually get that World Cup, or you think their time is over and their opportunity has passed?
I don't see it happening for either of them at this point, honestly, because of so many different factors. Their age, the players that have gone already, the retirements that are already happening, that will still be happening by the next World Cup. It's just too many changes and too many styles that have happened in between the past few competitions. that have rendered these two a little irrelevant when it comes to national team football. Do I think Argentina or Portugal can win the next World Cup? Honestly, I can't see that happening.
Okay. So actually, Spacey, so guys, just last 15, 20 minutes of the show, send in your questions. Send in your questions. I'll try and pick out the best questions. Send in your questions for us. So as they send in those questions, I think a lot of people who may be listening to you for the first time may not know who you are. So just Lenka, just introduce who you are, what you do, your website, so guys can just get a little bit of an insight into who the Lenkoricious is. Hit it.
All right. So a quick intro is that first of all, my name is Jelena, but the internet knows me as Lenka. I was born and raised in Belgrade, Serbia. I am a sports journalist and a lot of other different things. I dedicate my time working on my website when it comes to Serbian sport mostly and other different competitions that focus either Serbian players, Serbian coaches, and a lot of interesting things that are happening within sports. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, because I'm doing not only podcasts in Serbian, I will be doing English content and highlights that you can watch no matter what language you speak. And obviously Twitter, all links will be down below. And yeah, that is the shortest kind of recap of what I do. I obviously talk most about football, then basketball. Water polo is my baby because, as you will know, Serbia is the water polo force of the world. So you kind of have to love it if you're from here, and I really, really do. So that's about it.
Okay, so actually, we have an interesting question here. So, a dude here asked, "Who is the best Serbian player of all time?
Oh my
Best
God,
Serbian
of all
player of all
time.
time."
Yeah, that is, I mean, that is impossible to answer almost because you can't just pick one. I'm not a fan of picking just one player because first of all, it depends on the age, it depends on the position, on the team that they played for. God, that is really, really hard. Right now, from the players that are active now, I would choose as I guess my favorite Dusan Tadic because Ajax. And all-time favorite, I have to say I would have to give it a lot of thought because as I said, it's really hard to pick only one. I hate picking only one person from so many excellent, truly excellent individuals.
Actually, no. Okay, wait. Okay, so Tadic from Ajax is Serbian.
Yes.
Oh no, see, no, see. Now Tadic, now that is a quality player.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
also and also Milinkovic Savic is also Serbian, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, because I remember when I was watching the Serbian team, all the focus was on Milinkovic Savic because people were like, okay, United are thinking of getting him because he played really well for Lazio, and the focus was on him. But the guy that was actually the most impressive was Tadic. So I was like, wait, who the hell is this number 10 who can do right foot, left foot, has got great balance? And then we all saw what the dude flipping did for Ajax in the Champions League and just how well he played and how well he almost single handedly destroyed flipping Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. So I
Yes,
mean,
he's amazingly fast. He's amazingly strong. He has a really great pace, and I really love seeing him play because he will always surprise you. And I watching football, I love that element of surprise, and that is something that he will give you every single time. And the goal scoring potential, obviously enormous. So yeah, he really has been a pleasure to watch in the past few years.
okay, so I mean, as we're just seeing the thing going through, I just want to just touch upon PSG. Just PSG, the PSG project and everything, because a lot of people are sort of feeling that this could be PSG's year. That with the acquisition of Icardi, the acquisition of Idrissa Gueye, and with Di Maria playing really well, this could probably be the season that this very expensively assembled squad that was built primarily to win the Champions League and dominate the Champions League era, that this is going to be the year. So, so maybe two questions there. Do you think that this could be the year for PSG specifically? And do you think that and what do you think has been missing? Because I mean, let me just even briefly say, look, I think that personally for me, it would be great if Mbappe can win a Champions League, because I think him winning the Champions League and the World Cup, I think that would pretty much done and just say, now this is the new king of football right now, and that would be a great statement to make. But I just feel that you don't win a Champions League that way. You can't just spend, similar to what happened with the Galacticos, you
Yeah.
can't just spend crazy amounts of money and that's what equates success. You need coaching, you need the right players, you need the right manager, you need the right mentality. You need the
And,
right
and you need
winning
a few
mentality.
and you need a few years, to be honest, because you can't just fit 11 guys and say, okay, now you're going to play, you're all awesome, now you're going to play and you're going to win a Champions League in like a few months. It's not going to happen. It's not how it works. You need those people to live together, to play together, to train together, to know what the other guy is thinking at all times when they're in the field. That is the kind of level of chemistry and of just cooperation that you need in order to do something that is so extraordinary. And so I don't think that just buying in bulk is going to do anything except, empty your budget. That's just how it is. Do I think that they're going to win it this year? No. Semifinal tops.
Oh, wow, is actually someone if even asked, because obviously like you've just said that you're Serbian, and
Yes.
someone asked like, but why do you have like an American accent? Someone asked that why do you have an American accent?
I just like it the best. I could do different kinds of accents from Australia to Glasgow, but this is my default. A lot of American music, a lot of American TV. So this has kind of molded my accent into what it is right now. And no, we don't all sound Russian.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, no. Look, I mean, look, no, because I think whenever you just hear like a Serbia thing, you just think that they're all part of the Russian colony and so forth. So just what I want specifically about water polo. So have Serbia always been the best at water polo, or only recently? Because I think the last time I saw water polo was, I think, in the Olympics. So
Well,
have Serbia always been the best at water polo, or they're just currently the best right now?
basically 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, they were always the best. There was a time of Hungary dominating the sport. Then there was this kind of seesaw between Croatia, Montenegro, and then Serbia, kind of trying to balance off things. But in the past decade, Serbia is undoubtedly the best. They united the World Championship, the European Championship, the World League, and the Olympic gold. So they are undisputedly the best team that has played the sport. They have to reach a certain number of medals to beat what Hungary has been doing in the 80s and in the 90s. But currently, there's just no one better. Croatia can step up at certain competitions, which they have done incredibly. So can Montenegro, but honestly, there's just no one better than Serbia, and don't at me.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. So actually, slightly, obviously, slightly, off topic, but I still want to bring this in because obviously in the live show we just go everywhere. We touch on everything. Best, if you had just to pick one, best TV show of all time.
Best TV show of all.
Best TV.
Jesus.
If you've just had to pick one, just one, not don't three or four, hands down, 100% the best TV show of all time that just encompasses everything. Best TV show, because there is a right answer, but best TV show of all time.
In my opinion, Criminal Minds, the early seasons, not these seasons, but like the first 4 or 5 seasons.
Criminal what? Criminal Minds?
Yes.
Wait. So you'd put Criminal Minds over The Wire,
Yeah.
Sopranos,
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So okay, why specifically Criminal Minds above everything? Like, I mean, if you could just encapsulate, why would you say Criminal Minds amongst some of the top TV shows out?
Because they did something that no one else had done in a way that was really shocking, that was really encompassing the interest of writers and viewers within the crime drama genre. It wasn't just a procedural, it was a lot more detailed, it was a lot more psychological and mental, and it was something that just turned the crime drama genre on its head. And as I said, the first 4 or 5 seasons, it got diluted later, and I'm not a fan of these last few years because it's just been a revolving door. But the first, let's say, 5 seasons of Criminal Minds are just the top.
I think some people threw in like Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I mean, like, did you ever watch Fresh Prince or?
Yes, it was. I mean, it was popular. I think pretty much everywhere that had a satellite connection, or cable TV connection, and everyone likes the show. It's just that some people adore the show, and other people think it's okay. I've never met a single person who disliked it. It's just a matter of how much you liked it.
Well, yeah, and also because I think we sort of like talked about this before on our discussion, like, so why didn't she? Because again, why didn't she ever sort of get into Game of Thrones, which people will argue is probably the most popular TV show of all time, which
It is
ended
hella
horribly with
overrated.
those two clownish flipping writer losers.
Honestly, it I tried. I really, really, really did. But to me, I just couldn't get into it. I, I I do understand that people love it. I do also think it is incredibly overrated. I spoke to a lot of people about the season finale and the series finale. I did not talk to a single person who was happy with that finale or with the penultimate episode. And so I do believe that the writers kind of betrayed the fans that have been, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning to watch the live stream of the show because the time difference is major in comparison to the US. And so they kind of threw all of that out the window with the way the series ended. And I do understand the disappointment of people that have been watching it for years. And so, yeah, I never really got into it. I understand why people liked it and why they loved it. I'm just not one of them. I love Emilia Clarke, by the way. She's awesome.
Look, I don't want to look. I mean, Emilia Clarke. I mean, like, I mean, look. I don't know how to say this nicely, but I think she's an average. She's average at best as an actress.
Oh God, I would so disagree, but that would be like a longer discussion.
I mean, no, because think about it. Because I've watched Game of Thrones, and watching Game of Thrones in its entirety, I think she plays an amazing character. But I think her acting is average. I don't think that her acting is really too tough. And I think people just sort of fall in love with her because she's like the innocent kind of thing. But it's like, wait a minute, can she actually act? I'm not sure whether she can actually act.
I'm not basing my opinion of Emilia Clarke off of, Daenerys. I'm basing her off of different movies that she did in the meantime. Because as I said, I never watched the entire Game of Thrones. So I can't speak about her as an actress on Game of Thrones. But I can speak about her in different movies that she did. And she really made a name for herself outside of, being Daenerys with a long blonde hair. And yeah, I do think she's pretty great.
Okay, now I'm not sure whether you want to feel brave enough to do this. Someone has asked whether you can, because you said you could do accents. I'm amazing at accents. They say, can you do a Scottish accent?
You'd have to give me just a second.
All right,
Uh,
no, because I can do a Scottish accent straight up, bloody amazing
mhm.
Scottish accent. But you can go for it, and then I'll show you my Scottish accent, which is amazing.
All right, because it's been like a lot of time since I've done this last, so it's been a really long time since I've heard it and since I've spoke it and since I've like had any connections to it. So I could have lost it a bit, but I think that after a while it will come back. So that's about it.
Oh, okay, guys. Now, guys can now judge who is the best. So you've now heard Lankers. Now it's not time for me, man. This is my Scottish accent. You just give me a sec. Go with what I like one day, like I go to Scotland. I go to Scotland, man. You Chelsea, like man. I go to Scotland. I don't really do it like, man, but you do it like this, man. My name's HH. I go from Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow to Edinburgh, Glasgow. Scotland is great. Rangers, Celtic Rangers. All right, guys, in the
That's
comments
not
below,
Glasgow.
tell
That's
me,
like that's
and
not
also if
Glasgow.
you
That's
guys
like the
don't choose
Highlands.
me,
They're not going to choose you. They're going to choose the girl because that's how it goes.
let's just see. Okay, in the live chat, tell me who had the better Scottish accents, HH or Lanka. If you losers don't choose me after I've given you things, so let's just see what people in the chat say. Let's just see what these guys in the chat say. Um, awful HH. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Peak Brick Hope. Oh wow. Lanka. People said my name's Lanka. You guys are losers, man. You guys are a bunch of what? Lenka, easy money. You failed. Rather, I failed. HH is a brick. Lenka, Enka, HH is. You guys are a bunch. You know that was a quality Scottish accent. So I don't know what the hell you guys are saying, man.
My Glaswegians have taught me well. That's all I can say.
No, no, no. But look, I have to admit that. But personally, I think mine was better personally. But I have to say that was impressive. That's
Thank you.
that's that was impressive. Actually, if anybody has another accents challenge, put it in there because I like no for me. I think I won that, man. I think like what do you mean by she was amazing, man? No, don't be biased, man. Come on, man. Get the hell
He's
out of
not
here, man.
biased. He doesn't even know me. You can't be biased towards someone you don't know.
Yes, but I'm sure that because it's a girl that's common and everything, they'll always, and also these guys, they always side against me. So if you come on,
Oh,
they will
that's
always
even
try
better. That's
and
even
side
better.
against me.
It's like against. Well, actually, that's everything opposite of home court advantage that you have. So I like it. It's fine.
Okay, so I think we have okay, look, as I say, look, this live show we go full on random here. So they said a Southern American accent from the American South.
The American South. Oh God, I
American
I
South.
I don't. I've not spoken that in years. I don't know where I would pull that one at this point because it's been a long time. I'm so
So
sorry.
so look, are you no because I want to take a W because I'm tired of being called LL. So do you want to take Southern accents? You go first. I'll go after Southern accent. Let's do this.
Oh my God. Because the South of America is very difficult. It's very hard. And I've been talking it for a very long time. And I'm really sorry to anyone actually speaking this because I want to butcher your accent. But I'm doing it and I'm sorry.
Okay, now this is mine. First of all, I'm gonna completely destroy it. Well, I'm going right down south, man, because what doing in Alabama, we do things right here, man. My name's HH. And when we're right, we're going right real good, man. We eat them greens, we eat them collard greens, we eat all kind of greens right in Alabama. But right there in New York, man, I ain't New York, man. I don't do what I do in New York. I do it right in the South. That's how we do it in the South. Because HH, we're right in the South. Guys, please,
That is actually really good. I have to say that's really good.
if you don't put HH as the winner, I am going to induct all of you. So,
He's gonna delete a channel.
okay, thank you. So I think I'm hearing HH. I think I'm hearing HH. LA, okay, yeah, HH. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
He finally got his validation. Thank you guys.
Like, okay, one more accents challenge. One more. So, since it's 1-1, I'll admit the first loss. One more accents challenge, and then we can go. An accent that is not so. It can't be Nigerian and it can't be Serbian.
I
One more
cannot.
accents challenge.
A fun fact: I don't know how to speak a Serbian accent. I really, truly do not.
Oh, you. Wait, how is that possible?
It is because I've basically spoken with an American-based accent ever since I started learning English, which was a very long time ago. So I was never able to do a Serbian accent or what you would think a Serbian accent is. By the way, it does not sound the same as Russian. Um, but I don't know how to pull an actual Serbian accent. I don't know how weird it may sound to you, but it's the God honest truth.
Well, okay, so basically we have sort of a bit of a tie between Italian and Scouse. So what are you thinking?
I would
Italian or Scouse?
Jesus, I would not know how to do a scouse.
Should we? Okay, should we ride with Italian?
Oh God, that is fun, and I'm sorry to anyone speaking Italian at this point or speaking with an Italian accent because I'm not sure how good this is going to be.
Go for it.
Uh,
I want that win. There's no way I'm losing on my channel to a guest. So do the honors. You go first. I go second.
okay, I just like need 5 seconds to kind of think about it. I'm a
Like
linguist. I'm a
take this L.
perfectionist.
Take this L. Take this L.
I am not taking an L. Oh God, let's see.
And also, by the way, we have Italians in the live chat. By the way, so we do have
So
Italians
I
in the
have to
live
say
chat.
one
So
thing. I have to say one thing in advance. Mi dispiace. Okay, that there you go. because speaking Italian is very beautiful, but it is very difficult. And speaking Italian with an accent, or speaking English with an accent of an Italian, is very difficult because I've not done it in a very long time, and it is almost comedic, but not that comedic so that it would make me feel like I'm laughing. It's like crying and laughing at the same time. Capisci?
Okay, no, not bad, not bad. All right.
Mi dispiace molto. Mi dispiace molto.
Okay, it's time for okay, so it's time for me to guys. It's time for me to take this W. I said again, HH will not lose on his chance. Just give me something. It's time for me to take this W. E what you talking? You do talking. You do talking too much. Eh? Que cacete? If I for culo, if I for culo. He come here. He come like this. Eh? I say why? I say why? If you talking much, you talk like this. Eh? Cacete. Fafa caturo. E cacere. Angulo buongiorno, buongiorno. He come like this. I come like that. I come from Italy. Italy. I say Italy. I no say that me like. Mamma mia. What you talk? What you talking? What you talking? All right, guys, votes.
You actually
Votes.
have
I
to
need
say
that.
actual words. You have to say actual words, not words that sound like other words. Still.
Nah. That was an accent. Guys, let's see who wins. Let's see who wins this then. Okay, let's see. I think it's close, man. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's close. It's close. Wait, can someone put up a poll because I can't actually tell because I'm seeing a lot of HH, a lot of Lenka. So Lenka, HH. Okay. Oh, well, someone said my money was Italian American. Okay, so you know what? I want to hear from the Italians. I want to hear from the Italians. So basically, Gallo and another dude. Who won? Let me hear from the Italians. Who won? From the Italians, Gallo. If I could say you, Gallo, who won? Because and also Gallo, you better say me, bro. Okay, I'm just waiting for Gallo. Where the hell are you, man? Tell us who won. You're bloody Italian, man. Tell us who won. Tell us who won. Okay, RB comes. Who won? If you're part Italian. Oh, I go one from. Oh, I think I get the win. I think I just about to go the win from the Italians, man. It was close. It was close.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I told you, man. I've got some things, but I think basically for the chats, it is pretty much 50-50. You know, it's pretty much 50-50.
Ma che cosa? Ma che cosa? Io non credito.
No, but I mean, but I think probably the best accents I think they would say was probably the Scottish accents. They no
Of course
that
it was.
shocks me. That shocks because I didn't think your Scottish accent would.
Hey, it shocks the Glaswegians.
Oh, so why? So you used to live in Glasgow, or you knew
No,
Scottish people?
I've never been to Scotland ever. I would love to, but the situation has not come up yet, so that I could actually go to Scotland. So no, I've never been to Scotland, never been to Glasgow. But yeah, I am a huge fan of the Glaswegian accent, so I figured I can speak it, and so yeah, here we are.
You see, I think a lot of people say, look, I can't do it. I can try a Scouse accent, but it will sound so aggressive and so scary. I think I will lose all of my Liverpool subscribers.
Or it can sound so bad that you lose all of your Scouts subs.
No. It's not. Like, trust me. It's like, I mean, because I basically try and mimic like Jamie Carragher and Steven Gerrard, and I just mimic them, and it doesn't sound great, but that's just what it sounds like to me. You know. So it's like, I mean, if you guys want me to do a Scouse accent, but bro, if you want to hear your ears bleed, you know, that's my thing, man, because it ain't gonna sound pretty, bro. It ain't gonna it ain't gonna sound. I mean,
Yeah,
can
I
you
would.
do a Scouse accent?
Me no, I don't. I mean, I would honestly have to listen to it a lot more, and like I would need like a half hour, and then it would be good. Right now, off the bat, no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, it would be a bit because okay, if us to try is like, hey, Stevie Gerrard, I've got Gerrard, I've got Scouse like that, I've got Liverpool like that, I've got Liverpool like that, but Scouse like that.
You have
There you
to say
go.
actual words. You have to say actual words.
No, that's what it sounds like.
It
That's
doesn't
basically
sound.
that
It's
is
not
what it
that
sounds like. I
dense.
swear.
It's not that dense. It's not that dense.
You know,
Any actual Scouts here that are able to say that it doesn't sound that dense in real life. Thank you.
So that's what, but actually, I mean, so because also I think you said that you're a linguist. So
Yes.
how many languages do you actually speak like fluently?
I only count the ones that I can speak fluently, and currently we're at number six. It's gonna get to 10 at a certain point. My idea is to get to 10 before I hit 30. So yeah, currently we are at obviously Serbian, obviously English, Spanish, Portuguese, Catalan, and Russian. So that's six.
Oh wow, 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 wow! No, because I think the thing about it is that because I know obviously English, pidgin English, which is like a Nigerian type of English. You're like Yoruba, like only a few words. French and Spanish, but I've been learning French a lot longer than I've been learning Spanish. But I actually find Spanish a lot more easier to learn than I do French.
French has a harder grammar. I used to be able to speak French when I was very little, but then I did use it for ages. And when you don't use a language, you just forget it. You're able to understand it, but speaking it, it takes a lot more effort because you forget how to do it. You can kind of remind yourself of certain words and certain expressions, but it takes a while. And so that's kind of been my case with French, and I want to get back to it, and I will in the future. My current project is Italian, so I'm working on that right now. And yeah,
Oh, so okay. So you've just started to speak Italian. So like, I mean, are you finding Italian harder to learn than French? And thinking because French is bloody difficult. I'm not trying. I know like basically the only Italian words I know are the stuff that I see from like Syria football matches. So like Angelo Che, all that kind of stuff. But is Italian harder than French and Spanish, or easier from what you've just begun to?
I don't know. Having spoken Spanish for I don't know over a decade, it's not hard. It's not really that easy because there are very um, many words that are similar, but if you say one, it is, different because it's referred to, at least in Spanish, as falso amigo. So like a word that's the same in one language, it means something completely different in another. So there are a lot of cases of that. And not that many in French because it does sound a lot different. It has a different base, even though they're all Romance languages. French and Spanish are a lot more different than like French than Italian and Spanish. So it is easier, at least for me, after knowing Spanish, to actually be able to learn Italian. It will take me, a few more months, but it will definitely take me more for French because it is something that I'm less in contact with right now.
Interesting. Actually, just to go back briefly, just yourself as a journalist and everything. I think we sort of did a bit of this like a few weeks ago, like basically, women in sports journalism, women in football as well.
Right.
So
It's basically the kind of topic everyone wants me to speak on even before I knew I was supposed to. It's the kind of topic everyone's going to throw you in because you're a woman in sport. And they're going to ask you, "Oh, but do you really like this sport, or are you just doing this as a segue to like another job or getting your own show and whatnot?" So it's
bingo,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like I'm not a fan of that bias because there is still a level of opinions that say, oh yeah, women in sport are, not that common. Women in sport, it's just a segue to like getting your own show or getting to become an influencer or whatever. Some people just want to do it so they can get famous. But like honestly, if you do know journalism, you'll know that there's not a lot of money in this. You'll also know that getting a position of like an influencer or someone who's really, really famous, you can do it in ways that are a lot more easy. So if you want to be a sports journalist, whether or not you're a guy or a girl, you have to really love this. And you have to love the sport. You have to want to do this. Because at the end of the day, the people who stay are the ones that are really into this job, that really love the job for the sake of the job and for the sake of everything that you get as a human being. The satisfaction of going to football matches, of traveling because of sports, of meeting amazing people. Those are the kind of levels of satisfaction. You're not going to earn your 401k by becoming a journalist. So if anyone is wanting to do this for the sake of money, just, go become a lawyer or something. But if you really love sport and you want to broadcast and you want to tell stories and whatnot, this is really an ideal mix of storytelling and sports. Um, I've really noticed a rise of women in sports, of number of women in sports in the past few years. I still think we have a lot more to go because we're still not at an equal level in comparison to the number of guys. But I think that the numbers are a lot better than they were when I was getting started with this. So it makes me really happy to see a lot more ladies now in the sports sections of the halls, in the press rooms and whatnot. But oftentimes it still happens that I walk into a press room and there's like 10 guys, 20 guys, and just me, you know, and I'm like the only woman in the room. And the guys are just normal and professional, and I've always had good experiences because they're all, as I said, professional. It's all good. But would I still want to see more women doing this? Yes. Is it going to happen? Probably, because I see more women being interested in this kind of broadcasting and in talking about sports, and a lot more women are seeing that they can actually do it. Because 10 years ago, you didn't have women sports journalists, at least not in this side of the world. Now that is changing, and I'm really, really glad. But is there still kind of a question or a bias against women in sports? Yes. Is it a prevalence? No, but it still kind of exists.
Okay. So, yeah, so no, I mean, because you see, like the issue that I've always had, and I sort of briefly said this to you, like the issue I've always had is like, look, I mean, I think that, it's great to have like women in football and so forth, but my thing is, not mentioning any names is, women who pretty much try to use sex and combine it with football so they can gain a following, and then, as you say, use that to pretty much become an influencer or an individual, or just use it to be like a modeling thing and a whole character thing. And then when I look at that, because I take this whole football thing so seriously, I'm like, you're using you're treating things as a joke, and obviously you'll get guys coming, oh my gosh, yeah, look man, oh look titties, la 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 la. Whereas like, so the real journalism and the real content isn't there, and what you're not seeing, especially in this whole online media thing, is that there's a lot of clickbait that's out there, and watch you. That's what, like, there are very few women that I see as influencers, again, not naming any names, who they genuinely know what they're talking about. They genuinely make sense, and they generally care about the sport. It's very few.
Honestly, as I said, in order for you to stay in the sport journalist branch of just journalism, in order to stay in this job at a high level, or at least for a long time, whether you're a guy or a girl, you have to love this. Because if you don't love it, you're going to leave it. It could be a year, it could be 6 months into the job, it could be 3 years. If you don't love it, you're going to leave it. And the fact that more girls are appearing but then leaving, it has nothing to do with them just not caring about sports. It's statistically the number of women in sports journalism, in sport broadcasting, and in sport in general is lower still than the number of guys. So when you look at it from like a higher level, it's still going to be more guys than girls, because more guys have entered into this world than girls when it comes to the world of sports journalism. And you've mentioned the kind of influencers that do use their looks alone to attract the following. And even though that is not something that I would necessarily go for, I I do understand why some individuals would do that, but it has a higher cost, because as an individual you lose some of your integrity, unfortunately, and you can, like, your safety can be threatened because of all sorts of people on the internet. And even though it may sound like a really easy road, on the long run it's really not, and it could be really, really dangerous, and it could be really, really difficult. So I would not judge someone who would go down that road.
So actually, no, another question that I've just been seeing popping up here from the live chats: first football memory, the
Oh
first
God.
football
Okay.
memory.
Okay. It was a World Cup. I was about 5, and there was a game of Chile versus Austria. It was incredibly long. I was 5, and it seemed like it was never going to end. And then another really big memory was the former Yugoslavia losing in that very World Cup. and all of the kind of papers being covered with the faces of crying players that had, flunked out of the World Cup, unfortunately. And then my second big World Cup memory or football memory was actually Brazil winning the World Cup, and they were lifting up the trophy, and I had this little Kodak camera, with the film and everything that you had to develop. The millennials or the Gen Z will not know what I'm talking about. And I took that
Kids,
Kodak.
kids, kids, kids.
Yes, 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 yes. And I took that Kodak and I took the pictures of the TV of Brazil lifting the Golden Goddess because I was such a kid and I knew it was so important. And I love the golden confetti and everyone just crying from happiness. And I just knew that it was so important that I took a picture of the TV. And that was it was the first time in my life that I ever done that. I've done it a million times since, but that was the very first time. And to me, that is why Brazil is so special when it comes to football.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, so my first football memory, I believe, was seeing. I mean, it's sort of actually no. I believe probably my first football memory is Nigeria qualifying for the World Cup. So because like that was such a huge. So this was like the '94 World Cup. So this was such a huge because this was Nigeria's first ever World Cup, and also when Nigeria basically now the first game they beat Bulgaria in the first game 3-0, but the first goal was scored by Rashidi Yakini. And he has such an iconic celebration where he went into the goal net, grabbed it, and was going through because literally the passion that he showed was the passion of all Nigerians. Are like, my God, this is our first ever World Cup goal, and this just made us arrive. So that was definitely a huge memory. And I think the second one that I just remember very distinctly was Ajax winning the Champions League in 1995, because it was such a huge deal because they were such a young team. And I think I don't know whether it was AC Milan or Barcelona they beat in the final, but nobody thought they would be given a chance. But I think what you saw were these very young players who nobody really knew who these guys were. These guys were like 18, 19, 20, but would go on to be huge. So that was a team of Kanu, Finidi George, Yari Lepmanen, flipping Dennis Beckham, Van der Sar, Edgar Davids, Seedorf, Reitziger. So that was just an amazing team. So yeah, like those are my two early footballing memories, man. But I think that's why the World Cup is so special for me because like look, Champions League is huge and I love the Champions League, but the World Cup is something that unites the entire globe. The man on the streets doesn't know who the hell won the last Champions League, who was in the semi-final or anything. People who know nothing about football still care about the World Cup.
Yeah, because they will watch it. Like they will sit down every 4 years and they will watch it because in Serbia everyone watches football in like bars and coffee shops. So since there's always good weather during the World Cup, the outdoor bars and coffee shops and whatnot, everyone will kind of put up a TV there, and you sit down and you don't move for 90 minutes, and the entire city, especially if Serbia is playing, um, nothing is happening. Everyone is just watching football, and cities, they just literally stop for those 90 minutes. And that is just how important football is. And yeah, that is not something that the Champions League will do more than like once or twice, but still not at the same level as a World Cup will day in and day out for weeks. Again, the Champions League will make Belgrade grind to a halt, but it will be just one night, and the World Cup will do that for like 3 weeks.
Because so the World Cup that you were talking about Brazil, was that the '94 or the 2002?
No, I was one in '94. It was 2002.
Okay, yes, 2000. Well, okay, you've revealed your age there, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm 26. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's it. Yes, still young, still young. No, because you see, the 2002 World Cup was very special for
It
me.
was, yeah.
You know, the thing about it is that I mean, first of all, the kits were amazing. So because everybody had those really baggy kits, that's obviously because it was very hot in Japan and South Korea. It was the first time ever it was like two hosts. So because it was very hot, they had those really baggy jerseys, and also Cameroon had that very kind of like advanced one piece jersey that was full on. That FIFA said, oh well, you can't really fully wear this, and with they had like basketball jerseys as their thing. But why that was so special for me was because of my hero, Ronaldo. Because before that World Cup, we obviously this was coming off a major knee injury, and nobody thought that he'd be able to come back because he had the seizure in 1998 and everything. People thought, okay, is he going to come back? Is he finished? And I remember distinctly that final, so clear, because I was like, is he going to do it? Are Brazil going to win? There's just one more game, and how he was able. Because remember, people forget this. Germany were outplaying Brazil in that final. Germany were the better team. But and see, this is why I bring the whole Messi and Cristiano thing. The thing about the World Cup is that it is so special because it is every 4 years and people care so much. So there's such a finite time for you to be successful, and the degree of difficulty is so large because it's such a small time. It's every 4 years. So the margin of error is so short.
Yeah, because 1 year you'll get a generation that you're probably not going to see again. The only people who have maybe repeated a generation for a major competition were Spain. But other than that, you can't really expect the same generation to play the competition twice in a row because people are going to get injured, people are going to retire, and that just, unfortunately, that's how it is. I mean, I would honestly love if I was able to watch 2002 Brazil World Cup winning team, to watch them another two World Cups. But, you can get the Jogo Bonito in its prime only once. And I really hope that Brazil can pull something similar off, like in the next decade, for example. I mean, I would really, really love that. Everyone who loves football would love that level of Brazil and that actual pinnacle of what Jogo Bonito was.
Oh, no, for sure. So maybe so just to round this off, and I think I like this question. This is like last question, and then we can round off this stream.
Okay.
If you had to choose one, I think someone asks favorite film of all time, favorite movie of all time.
Wow. Okay. Jesus. You guys know that I don't like to just pick one. I hate picking only one of anything.
Pick one, only one. I only want one, only one. Don't give me three, four, five, or
No,
two.
I'm not
Just
gonna.
one,
Let's say The Godfather.
one or two.
One.
So, but you have seen two, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
This is my thing about Godfather 1 and 2. Godfather has probably, I think, the greatest acting performance of all time for Brando as Don Corleone. What he did there was amazing, and it's just an amazing drama. See, Godfather has amazing performances and an amazing character in Don Corleone. Godfather 2 is the better film. I think Godfather 2 as a whole, past, present, doing it the whole time, I think it's a better film. But I just think that it's flipping Brando, man. It's flipping Brando. Like, that performance as Don Corleone was insane. And when you actually hear...
It was amazing, yeah. But it's the kind of movie that not only defines a generation, but it defines you as an actor. It's the kind of movie that makes your career, that profiles you as a major actor that people need to look for in any major movies for the future. However, I did prefer the first part because it's kind of the thing that's getting everything going. It's the thing that gives you the backstory, the context, and it kind of brings you in. Because the two doesn't really make sense without the one. And to me, the one is kind of the inception of everything. That's why I prefer it. But yeah, Brando, I mean, come on. Let's not start that because it would be a very long, very how should I say, the podcast would be full of compliments and it would last for like another hour.
So do you put Brando as the greatest actor of all time?
I don't know if I could put him as number one, but like top three for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, no. For me, obviously, before I reveal my films, like for me, I still see what I say is Gary Oldman is the greatest actor of all time. Because I just think that the range of characters that he's done is crazy, as in the kinds of things that he's done and how varied the characters that he's played that he's done. I just think is flipping insane, and for me, that just puts him on another level. See, for me, if I just say my favorite film of all time, it's very it's a difficult question. But you picked one, so let me because it's always changes all the time. But if I had to pick one, I would say, and this may sound crazy to some people, The Matrix Reloaded.
Wow. Okay.
So wait, why do you say wow? You say wow as in like that's like why the hell did you pick that film? Or is it a wow as in
I'm just I'm surprised because there's so many more to choose from. Like so many how should I say? Deeper, higher in value, higher I'm not talking about like production value. I'm just talking about the story level. I don't know. There's so many more. I'm just surprised.
I think for me,
I'm not dissing on the Matrix. I'm not dissing on the Matrix, by the way.
no, you
It's
better not diss this on the Matrix, man. Trust me, you better.
no one disses on the Matrix. First of all, second of all, Keanu. Third, there's no third. But like the whole point is, I thought amongst all those, how should I, more complicated, more complex in a way movies. I don't know. The Matrix is unusual as a choice. I respect it, but it's still
Oh
unusual.
no. Because see, my argument with, because for me, I believe that The Matrix, the first film, is the most relevant film of all time because that is the only film I feel any person in the world, in the globe, can relate to because it talks about something within humanity that everybody can connect with. Because every other film is okay, it's about Italian America, it's about white people here, it's about Europeans here, things here. Matrix is about humans and reality, the nature of reality. It's about choice, fate, and so forth. Anyone can relate to that. But the reason about Reloaded is that it takes what you saw in the Matrix and times it by 10. So the action is on the next level, the philosophy is on the next level, the sociology is on the next level, the questions that it asks are on the next level, and how deep and how complicated it goes within choice, fate, who are you as a person, the nature of heroes, the archetype of a hero, just the things, the action, the martial arts, the sci-fi. It's flipping insane. It is flipping insane. But I know that I picked that. Have you seen the Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, of course.
You know for me, like, because I watched it again recently, because you don't know what, and I remember someone in school saying this to me. Shawshank Redemption is the guy's version of a chick flick.
God, I don't know, honestly. It's a very that's a very bold statement. That is a very bold statement, I have to say. And
No, it is.
it is a very weird comparison, honestly. It's not the kind of comparison I'd ever make.
No. The reason why I say this is that no guy will admit this. And I would, because for me, I'm not a very emotional guy. You know, seriously, like I think the last time I cried was maybe like about 20 years ago. But no guy will admit this. Trust me, every guy has probably at least shed a tear at a specific scene in Shawshank Redemption. And I think the thing about Shawshank Redemption is that it's the nature of friendship and how they show friendship. And it is something that guys can really relate to.
I think
You know,
people can relate to it, honestly. I don't like the division of like, oh, this is for girls, this is for guys, all that kind of la di da. I'm not a fan of that. First of all. Second of all, I don't have a problem with guys saying, oh, yes, they cried watching this movie, watching that movie. Like, I know guys have cried while watching the notebooks with their girlfriend. Like, it's normal to cry. We're human, we're people. It's fine. Everyone has, tear glands in their eyes. It's perfectly fine. But another thing why I would appreciate The Shawshank Redemption as a movie is because it shows you a very complex level of character arcs, and it doesn't just give you a cliche, which is really really important. And again, I'm a fan of stories that aren't a cliche, that you can see how they end from the moment they begin, which is a big problem with movies nowadays. I'm not a fan of those kind of super simple stories that you can figure out right away. I like a lot of plot twists and a lot of different story branches coming out of a single movie. And so these kind of movies, the kind of old school ones with the big character builds and different story arcs, are the kind of movies that make you actually want to watch more films, because they're not copy paste, they're not these kind of cliches, they're a lot more complex. So there you go.
All right, so let's see. Last thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll here. Last thing, the most emotional film you've ever seen, the film that drew out the most emotion from you. So the most
Okay,
depressing, the most
easy,
emotional film.
easy.
Easy.
That is an easy answer. It is a movie. It is a Serbian movie called Skyhook. Or in Serbian, if there are any Serbian or Balkan people watching this or listening to this, actually, the original title is Nebesko, and it is a low budget movie that was made right after Serbia being bombed in 1999. So it was a very relevant film at that time, based on different events and whatnot. And it is talking about us being in the war. It is talking about Belgrade as a capital being bombed on a daily basis. And it has in its center the amazing Nebojša Glogovac, who is just one of the best actors that Serbia has ever given to the world. And he is playing this former basketball talent, the kind of guy that was amazing, but then got injured and he wasn't really disciplined, the has been, the could have been, who has now an ex-wife and a kid. And it doesn't really sound as a lot as I'm saying this, but that is the shortest kind of um, plot thing that I can give you. And you just sit down and you watch the movie for about 2 hours, and then you spend an hour crying. Well, you don't spend an hour crying, you spend half an hour crying and then another hour trying to recover. And it's extremely relevant for this region even now, but since it provokes so many universal human emotions, it brings out the hope, it brings out the complete hopelessness. On the other hand, it brings out um, the incredibly dark humor that we're known for. It kind of brings out everything that's good in our mentality, everything that will also be, how should I say this to someone who's not Serbian? Um, Everything that's kind of
So it's pretty much,
mm-hmm.
it's a film that every Serbian pretty much has to watch. It's pretty much epitomizes like Serbia.
Yes, it is a movie that every Serbian I think has watched in generations, but it is also a movie that is relevant for the rest of the world because again it shows universal human emotions that you can relate to even if you've never been to Belgrade, even if you've never spoken a word of Serbian. You can find it subtitled. It's obviously a movie in Serbian, but you could find it subtitled in so many different languages because of the magic of the internet. And it does show you that in a low production with incredibly talented actors and with a really simple story, it could just go so far and it can make you feel so many things at once. And I would recommend to people that are a fan of these kind of psychological movies to definitely watch The Skyhook. Just Google it and you can thank me later. And also take a bag of tissues because you'll need it, I promise you.
Oh wow, okay, okay. Like I don't like watching depressing films, but yeah, I'll definitely put that on the list if I'm emotionally ready for it. I'll give that a look.
All right.
Two, two movies. I'll give you two movies. One is Roots. So obviously Roots, that was obviously told the story of Kunta Kinte and pretty much told the story of slavery. So pretty much after I watched it, I wanted to kill every white person that I saw. So I hated the white people for about 2-3 weeks. So so there's that, and there's Elephant Man, and Elephant One actually even met the actor before he died, John Hurt, and it's
Wow.
about this guy who's obviously disfigured and everything, and how people tease him, treat him bad and everything, and just the stuff that he goes through being different based on how he's disfigured. One of the most depressing, sad, like it just made me hate human beings and society. It's like this is
Mm-hmm.
how we now treat people. So it just basically like I've only watched it once and I only watch it once. One of the most depressing films that you will ever flip and see. So guys, that is all for us, man. I hope you enjoyed the live stream and all of the contents that we had from you. And obviously, hopefully, Lanka, you can join us again for another live chat talk, of different things and everything. So just Lanka, just tell the folks how they can reach you on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, all that stuff.
Right. Sideline Serbia or Sideline SRB on Instagram and on YouTube as well. Make sure to follow, hit the bell on YouTube. My Twitter is gonna be linked because it is in Spanish, and it's JJ but you will see it linked, and that's pretty much it. Follow Sideline Serbia on everything, and make sure that you are ready for multilingual content. That's pretty much it.
Okay, coolio. So guys, that is, remember guys, hit that like button, share the vid, Look at all the links in the description box below. All right, guys, peace out, stay true.